In this video, we're going to look at how to factorize quadratic. Okay, when you have your quadratic expression, there are two parts of it that you want to look at initially. Okay, and that is this part here, so the number on its own, and also the term with x. Now, I need to ask myself, okay, this question, the following question. I want two numbers that I times, okay, to get 12, and the same two numbers that I add to get 7. Okay, so I'm going to start off by writing out all the pairs of numbers that I can times to get 12. So that is 1 times 12, 2 times 6, and 3 times 4. Okay, all those questions, okay, the answer is 12. Now, only one of those pairs will give me 7 when I add the two numbers, and that is this one here. Okay, because 3 plus 4 is 7. So this is the pair that I actually want. So my answer will be x plus 3 in one bracket, and then x plus 4 in the other bracket. Okay, now I could write it as x plus 4 and then x plus 3, because remember, between the two brackets you have multiplication, and when you multiply, the order does not matter. In the next example, again, I want two numbers that I times to get 28, and the same two numbers that I add to get 16. Okay, again, I could write out all the numbers that I times to get 28, but hopefully you can spot that the two numbers that I need are 2 and 14. 2 times 14 is 28, and then to add 14 is 16. So in my brackets, I'll have x plus 2 and then x plus 14. Okay, now the questions on the right hand side are slightly different because we have some negative terms in those expressions. That means that you have to be a little bit more careful, but the rules are still the same. So I need two numbers that I times to get 2 and then add to get -3. Okay, now because my answer to multiplication is positive, that means both numbers need to be positive or both numbers need to be negative. Okay, now because my answer to addition is negative, that means that both my numbers need to be negative. Okay, there are not that many numbers that you can times to get 2, it's only 1 and 2. Okay, so I need -1 and -2, because notice that if I multiply two negative numbers, okay, my answer will be positive. Now when I add -1, add -2, the answer will be -3. Okay, so I do get the answers that I need. So in my brackets, I have x -1 and x -2. Okay, both numbers are negative, so I have minuses in both brackets. Okay, let's have a look at another example. I want two numbers that I times to get -8 and add, okay, to get 2. Now, because my answer to multiplication is negative, that means only one number is negative and the other one is positive. Also, the answer to addition is positive. That means that the bigger number will have to be positive and then the smaller number will have to be negative. Okay, so again, there are not that many numbers that you can times to get 8. Okay, and the pair of numbers that we need is 4 and -2. Okay, so 4 times -2 is -8, and 4 add -2 is +2. So in my bracket, I'll have x plus 4 and then x -2. Okay, in the last one, again, I want two numbers that I times to get -30 and then add to get -1. Remember, because it's -x, that means that coefficient here is -1, okay? So the answer to multiplication is negative. That means one number must be positive and one number must be negative. Now the answer to addition is negative. That means that the bigger number will be negative, okay? The numbers that I need here is 5 and 6, but now I need to decide which one will be positive and which one will be negative. Okay, so I said to get the negative answer to addition, the bigger number needs to be negative. So that's going to be -6 times +5. -6 times 5 is -30, and -6 add 5 is -1. Okay, so x -6 in one bracket and x plus 5 in the other bracket. Okay. Now, in this slide, okay, we're going to look at factorising expressions, but we're going to focus on the difference of two squares. Okay, so this is this type of question, like x squared take away 25. Now, there is a very quick way how you can factorize this type of expression, but I'm going to explain first why we do it the way we do. Okay, so remember that normally your quadratic expressions come in this form. Okay, when I look at my expression here, x squared take away 25, I can notice that I'm missing this part. Okay, and that is because b must be 0. So that means when I add two numbers, I must get 0. Okay, now, so I'm going to try and solve the first one just like we did on the previous examples. So I want, okay, so imagine I've got this. Okay, so I want two numbers that I times to get -25, and the same two numbers that I add to get 0. Okay, so because the answer to multiplication is negative, that means that one number must be positive, the other one is negative. Okay, so those two numbers are -5 and 5. Okay, now -5 add 5, okay, is 0. So that's what I need in my question. Okay, so x plus 5 and then x minus 5. Okay, now there is a shortcut. Okay, we can do it in a slightly different way. You could, in a way, ask yourself, okay, what is square root of 25? Well, the square root of 25 is 5, and you put your answer in brackets when one bracket is positive, the other bracket is negative, because remember, okay, to get -25, when you multiply it, you need one positive, one negative number. So let's have a look at the next one. So in the next one, square root of 100 is 10. So I have a take away 10 in one bracket, and then a plus 10 in the other bracket. Okay, that's it. That's a very, very quick way to do this. If you can't remember this way, then obviously you can do it using the regular method. Okay, a squared take away 16. Square root of 16 is 4. So I have a take away 4 in one bracket and a plus 4 in the other bracket. And one more, x squared take away 144. So I need square root of 144, which is 12. So that is x take away 12 and then x plus 12. Okay, that's it.